It's Tuesday, and you know what that means. It's IndyCar night on iRacing. Hello again, everyone. Good evening. I'm Gary Gatto, and welcome to P1 Broadcasting signature presentation and coverage of Round 6, Week 6 of Season 2 of the 2025 IndyCar Oval Series. Tuesday night top split coming to you from Legacy Phoenix, presented by Topia Systems. And it's going to be a scorcher out there right now. We are on the border of really 130 degrees at qualifying, but wow, as soon as we go to race time, the track dip comes down, now goes back up. We're back up to about 130 degrees again. And we have not a big field tonight, but a spirited field. But joining me in the booth is a spirited bunch as well. We have Justin Petschauer, as always, and Nick Sudik, again, coming in off the bench. Guys, welcome. Justin, go ahead and kick her off. We're lining up, getting ready to go racing.
I'm just going to say this. I hope to God the AC in this broadcast booth doesn't go out with how hot that track temperature is.
Yeah, you could maybe not cook an egg, but you could definitely make certain meats of your choosing to serve safe certification there off of this track. So, good luck to you out there. It's going to be tough. I drove the setup a little bit just to get a feel for what the drivers are feeling. It's going to be tough with these track conditions. A lot of tire management. That right front, it's always a pain to keep in check here, but even more so now with the conditions given, Gary.
And not just the right front, basically the whole right side, the right front tire and the right rear tire. You're going to have to manage as best you can, especially over in 3 and 4, where the loads are going to be put more into a straight test, if you want to call it that.
And here's today's starting lineup. Pinero on the pole, right next to him, Jacob Collins. Jacob having a good 2-week period here. Finished on the podium last week, finishing on the starting on the front row here at Phoenix with a 176.1. We got Tanner Richards and Clindy back on row 2. Ward and Ponto on row 3. Estrada and Edwards on row 4. Wetz and Miguel on row 5. Bizarro and Mitchell back on row 6. Sousa and Ty Quilla back on row 7. Guilherme and Hayward. Miss Excitement back on row 8 for Porty. The mailman back on row 9 with Washington. Hamilton and Gilson back on row 10. I'm not sure why Hamilton's so far back. Is he trying the worst first challenge again?
I think he is.
And then we have Forsyth and Roman Zini rounding out the remainder of this field as they are down the backstretch, already through the dog leg, getting ready to go racing.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting seeing Hamilton, Forsyth, Porty there in the back. I know Hamilton actually hit the wall on his go lap, so we're going to see if that shakes him up a little bit. It's going to be a tough ladder for all of them to climb. Here we go, green, Gary.
Already a good start as they go down towards turn number 1 here. Like you said, this is going to be you're going to take it easy going through 1 and 2, especially on the start here because of the cold tires. Once they get through 3 and 4, the tires should be up to temperature, but that dirty air is going to be very prevalent as they go off of turn number 4.
Yeah, working the tires in, working the tools, figure out what you need with the amount of traffic. Already see some cars towards the back there starting to bobble a little bit, trying to jockey for position.
Yeah, Wentz had to back up that corner exit there a little bit because the car in front of him got a little. It was Jeremy there. He had to check up a ton because of all that dirty air. As they are still, as you can see here. Oh, caution!
Hamilton.
Oh no!
And I don't want to show you the ERN replay. We'll take that off. But here he is going down the front stretch here. And on the inside is Carlos Washington. And he sends it. And, oh, you know what? That is a lot of bad net code. And that might be that could be day done with the way that he hit that wall attenuator first.
Yeah. To quote Step Brothers, so much room for activities.
It's like almost a tire width and a half between them, unfortunately. But it's a risk we play when we enter the simulator, especially at these high speeds. So, it'd be interesting though, because Hamilton did hit pretty square. So I wonder if there's anything besides that rear wing.
If you take a look at the right front wing.
Yeah, he's missing one of the front wings as well. We'll see. He'll come to pit road this time by, and he'll get his crew to take a look at it.
Crazy enough, no meatball, no mechanical black flag for Hamilton.
I was just about to say that.
Officials being very lenient here today.
Well, I think they realized with how hot the track temperature is, they decided to just say, you know what? For the sake of our health and safety, let's just take it easy on the meatball flags and what have you.
Goes up on the jacks, down on the jacks. Still waiting for a new rear wing. Field is coming through turns 3 and 4 now. Lights are still on the pace car, so we're not going green this time by. It is Pinero, Collins, Clindy, Tanner Richards, Josh Ward, your top 5. Pato, Edwards, Estrada, Miguel, and Wetch, your top 10. Very early stages here of 110 laps here at Phoenix. I think we're doing a little bit more in terms of lap count than normal here. We tend to be in the normally what was the 80 to 100 area before at this track.
Yeah, typically around there.
Yeah,
usually between 75 and 100.
Yeah, so they're going a little bit longer today. We've seen, and actually Hamilton's one of those people that we've seen as he's back rolling. There he is, so he is back repaired. If there's enough cautions in this thing, you could go on the old lap count without a stop. And we've seen Hamilton do that before. It's been a while. But they extended the race distance just a little bit to prevent that, to make it less of a fuel mileage race, a little bit more of a proper sprint with one stop in the middle. Coming to green this time by Pinero, Collins, Clindy, Richards, and Ward. And as a proper restart here at proper Phoenix. Green flag in the air. Here we go. Lap 6.
Now, will they make it very properly through turns 1 and 2? That is the question. So far, so good. They have a clean restart as they head down the backstretch towards turn number 3.
Got 2 Rogue Racing teammates in second and third trying to run down Pinero.
Okay, guys, we're only into lap 8 of 110. What do you think the track temperature is without even looking?
131.
I was going to say, are we up to 132 now?
We're actually 129. We are creeping up there.
Okay. End building.
Oh, Miss Excitement got a little bit of an understeer there coming off of turn 2. That's going to allow Carlos Washington to get the run as they go through 3 and 4. Carlos Washington washes up a little bit, tosses some dirty air on Miss Excitement herself, and he will come out through and get that position away from Miss Olivia Hayward as they go into turn number 1.
I think he did a high entrance there just to feed her a little air defensively.
Yeah, it's strong tactic, especially through 3 and 4. If you mess up somebody's entrance, you can take technically 2 different entries into 3 and 4. You can start a low exit or a low entrance or a high entrance. But a lot of people, especially trying to save that tire, prefer to do the high entrance and kind of arc it in late.
Yeah, but I don't think blinking like a Christmas tree counts as a tactic, though, to try and throw dirty air.
Gilson and Vitor in the 1 together. Vitor up high, Gilson down low. Unfortunately, Gilson getting the slightly dirty air from Miss Excitement.
Yeah, Gilson's he's throwing his car everywhere he can to try and find a way to get around. But with how much, to quote Paul Page, this is a boulder. And you can get stuck in traffic, you can get mired in traffic, but there are ways that you can get by people just by, I'm trying to remember, it was a phrase that he used, exploiting the outside line without wrecking yourself.
Okay.
Especially in 1 and 2. But you have to be very careful going to try and make that exploit move through 1 and 2, whereas with 3 and 4, you got plenty of room. And the reason why I say it's a little bit harder to try it at 1 and 2, that wall juts out at you way, way too quick as you exit turn 2.
Looking like we got a little bit of a queue starting to form behind Dave Mitchell 3 there.
We'll get back on that battle here. And that brings up a good point. We have not done this yet. Speaking of Mitch, here are the points coming into today. Clindy, your leader, Mitchell 2nd, Taylor 3rd, Josh Ward 4th, Trey Shadid in 5th, Pinero, our leader, in 6th. Brendan in 7th, Tanner Richards in 8th, Ty Quill in 9th, and Jacob Collins in 10th. That is your top 10. There you see the remainder of the top 20 in points coming into this week.
Yeah, Collins with a strong finish here. Could be looking to actually make up some of that ground on those in front, too. Mitch down there. Richards, Collins is ahead of Richards right now, too. And we do have a pretty stout field, though. 4,700 SOF. Again, not the highest we've seen, but we have definitely seen lower on the season. So a lot of points up for grabs here.
Well, not just that. It's most people are so used to the new Phoenix, as we all unfortunately like to call it. Whereas many of us who appreciate history as well as good racing, we love to call this the proper Phoenix, because this is how it should have stayed. Granted, yes, the Petty, Bryant, and Foyt stands over along the front stretch and right at the exit of what was turn 4 needed to go because they were damn near red tag status, if you understand construction lingo.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But flipping it around and turning it into a... What was it? I started and somebody picked up on it. Oh, yeah. A Nazareth Speedway of the West? Come on, guys.
The rule set for tonight, this is a 1 mile oval with a dog leg left down the backstretch. We're doing 110 laps, 110 miles, no fast repairs, 3 sets of tires, 1 in the car, 2 in the pits. 45 mile per hour speed limit here at Phoenix. If you enjoy P1's coverage of the IndyCar Oval Series Tuesday night's top split presented by Topia Systems and respect the stream, please do us a solid. Make sure you support us by subscribing. And while you're at it, don't forget to smash like and click the bell so don't miss out on future P1 iRacing broadcasts. Lap 23 coming to 24 of 110, almost a quarter of the way through this thing. Adriano Pinero's led the entire way. Clindy 2nd, Jacob Collins 3rd. Richards is 4th, Ward is 5th. That has virtually remained unchanged since we gone green around lap 6 again due to an early caution brought out by Hamilton and Caboeasy, and a little net code action there with Carlos Washington that brought out the first caution. Since then, we've been clean and green, and now when do we expect to see first round of pit stops? Do they just separate this race into 2 halves and maybe think about pitting right around lap 50-ish or so, or do they go as deep as they can?
Well, if I'm out in the lead, I'm definitely going to try to go and extend as long as possible, obviously, but keep the distance, obviously, between your competitors. Track position here is king. Again, lighter tank on that pit stop, too. It's going to pay dividends for that tire wear as we can start to get, 40, 50 laps into that run. So I think everybody's going to try to go long. You might see the likes of, Wets, Mitch, Ty Sousa on back. See them maybe short pit, try to get some time back up on the field and hope that it does go green, and then maybe a late race caution can reset the field, because everybody is still on the lead lap for now, even those who might be a little damaged.
How powerful is the undercut here? Being that you're on the throttle at 100% nearly the entire lap, with the exception of lifting and doing some downshifting in turns 1 and 2, and maybe a slight downshift in 3 and 4. You're pretty much on the throttle all the way around this place. How powerful is the undercut with a new set of tires? Can you actually make up some spots with the undercut? Yeah,
it's strong. I've been caught out so many times at the newer version of Phoenix, at this version of Phoenix. If you get caught sleeping, even one lap can make a huge difference, especially when it is a full green flag run. That's probably, if you're in dirty air, well, let's take a little example right now about halfway through a run here. Pinheiro, Adriano, even in clean air, fastest lap of the race, 21.18. He's running in the 21.58 bracket right now, and that's with clean air right now. No draft assistance, anything like that, or no draft, anything like that. So that's a really good baseline. So by the time you get down to the end of the run, it's almost 3/4 of a second to a full second, depending on the track temp, of fall off. In these conditions, at least.
Track temp is unchanged. Go ahead.
No, it actually just dropped because of the cloud cover that we got here. I was about to say that. That cloud cover.
The solo cloud in Phoenix, Arizona right now.
Yeah, but if you look, it almost looks like it's got enough rain in it. Especially with how dark it's gotten the track and what have you. Like at one moment it was we literally had our shades on in here. Next moment we can literally just see clear as day with no sunglasses on. Also, I'm looking at Craig Fort's side. What most people don't know is that is a Greg Moore paint scheme, and there is something very significant about today there, gentlemen.
50th birthday of Greg Moore.
The biggest what if in motorsports.
That's certainly one of them. As we watch as Vitor goes way high through 3 and 4.
Woo.
This long was a staple of the IndyCar schedule. Back to the kart days, and Miss Excitement giving us a little excitement in the wall as Vitor and Craig get around her. Phoenix was pretty much on the schedule every year, all the way through, actually including the split. This was one of the tracks that came over with the Indy Racing League. There were a couple of races here, and then they stopped coming to Phoenix, frankly, because it just wasn't drawing anymore. And then they returned not too long ago. By that point, the track was kind of already in reconfig mode, and they were driving the IR18s without the aero screen, I believe. I think it was the 2018 season. I think Joseph Newgarden actually won that race, but the career wins leaders here, there used to be 2 races per season. There was one in the fall and one in the spring. The spring, as Johnny Rutherford, Bobby Unser, and Rick Mears each had 3 wins apiece here. In the fall, it was Al Unser Sr. and A.J. Foyt each with 4. This is quite possibly the site of the biggest upset ever in IndyCar racing back in '97 when Jim Guthrie beat Tony Stewart for the win here. For his one and only IndyCar win, it was a true underfunded team versus, Team Menard was kind of one of the power teams at the time in the Indy Racing League. So it was definitely a David versus Goliath story, and Jim Guthrie won that race. Check it out. He had the race up pretty darn hard down the stretch, and in fact a last few lap sprint coming out of a caution flag. He had to hold off Tony Stewart. We know how aggressive Tony was when in his youth. So Big win for Jim Guthrie. No relation to Janet.
And we almost had that happen again later on in the decades with Robert Wickens in 2018. I thought I was going to lose my voice just cheering on Wickens. But then, of course, a bit of a blunder on pit strategy, if you will, for both Hinch and Wickens that essentially handed Newgarden the win.
And Kawaweezy coming to pit row. This will be I think close to a scheduled stop for him. Oh, wait a minute. He just punched out. So I think he's done for the day.
Yeah, I think he's had enough.
43 of 110 Pinero, your leader, Clindy Collins, Richards, Ward. That has remained unchanged, really, since we've gone green back on lap 6.
And, of course, going throughout the history of not just real-life history for IndyCar here at Phoenix, but also iRacing history here at Phoenix. Doesn't really matter what type of package it is, or what configuration it is. You can get guys that'll be spread out that will basically use somebody else's draft, if you will, to save a little bit of fuel. Not a lot, but save enough to try and either, like we were talking about here, undercutting it, or if the undercut decides to blow up spectacularly, then just go with the overcut. And at times that can work.
Yeah, I think here in about, maybe like 15 laps, I'll even go up just with it being an 8-second gap to Estrada. If I'm Estrada on back, I'm really thinking about just going right when that fuel window opens, get the new boots on, try to make up some time at least as you can, and wait it out. Like, wait out that little bit of a danger zone and see if you might be able to make up some time, and then who knows, everybody might start racing a little bit. They might have an incident. This pit road entry, by the way, is really scary.
Yes, it is.
So
on and off.
It is extremely flat. So I would anticipate a couple takers here in about 15 laps or so.
Well, not only was it scary here in IndyCar, it was a hell of a lot scarier here in the stock cars.
And the Tues and 8 top split is sponsored by Topia Systems. Topia is where quality and affordability go full throttle. From custom rigs to powerful pre-builds, Topia delivers top-tier performance without all the sticker shock. Built with premium parts and backed by a team that really cares. Every system is tuned for gaming greatness. Topia Systems, built right, priced right, game on. To learn more and to buy your own Topia system, make sure to check out the links in the description. Watching the battle on the racetrack now with Antonio Estrada and Miguel.
Oh, and we actually do have our first taker.
Logan Edwards
in the pits.
Right at lap 50.
I was also going to add, I've seen more guys in the stock cars, particularly the NIS, hit literally. I kid you not. They try and carry a bit more speed going into pit entrance. They don't realize how that wall juts a little bit closer in to where it narrows it down, and they literally just they Matt Kens it into the barrels and literally just kill their engine on the spot.
Logan Edwards down, done and away for his stop for the race.
Oh. Dave Mitchell with a problem here.
Yes, he is, and he was sparking a lot, and now he's down on power and speed. And here comes to the inside. Ty Quilla trying to get by and is not, I don't know if he's recovering from dirty tires. He seems to be back up to full song, but he is not feeling it right now at the moment. Mitchell down the 13th.
Scary. Moment's notice. You can just have a little bit of marbles on those tires, especially with the oval refresh, phase 1 and phase 2 that have happened. Get them a little dirty and they take off, man. I mean, it is no joke. That outside line is way more difficult to maintain if you right now, like we have, just a strung out line of cars. It's going to build up there.
Oh, so go back and watch. I just pulled up the replay on what happened with Dave Mitchell. It was coming off of turn 2. He carried a little too much speed behind Jeremy there. Didn't realize the wall was coming up that close, and he literally had to pitch it sideways just to keep it off the wall, and he decided to go and mow the grass, but he also didn't realize there's a curb there coming up from the infield road course.
Miguel is really the only driver doing a lot of passing right now, as he's got around Estrada now up to 8th. And now Estrada, we'll get the driver inputs there off, is in a battle now with Chris Wett. So Estrada, he's going to the end of his run, it looks like. He's not going to experiment with trying to get in there early, but he could definitely use a new set of tires right now.
Yeah, we have Forsyth as well in the pits. Another taker. Again, everybody kind of minding their own business as we keep looking at this battle.
And this is a long stop. This is a black flag speeding on pit road. Craig Forsyth. Day is done for taking the early gamble coming to pit road.
Guys, I think we owe him an apology on one thing. We talked about it during the broadcast, and what happened?
I don't know if I can give him the jinx on that one. He's back underway. Chris Wett's Chris Wett's getting around Antonio Estrada, moving him up to 9th. Lap 59 of 110. Past the halfway point. Here's your leader, Adriano Pinero. We expect to see him coming to pit road probably in the next, I say 15 laps or so, for sure.
Yeah, Adriano putting on a performance, and adds a performance too with that pass. Wett's, good, strong. Again, I raced with him in other competitions. I've raced with him in Toyota GR Cup North America through SROs. Strong there. Wonderful to see him, breaking out of his shell and continuing to run this season. Love to have him here, and love to see him, making a pass on one of the top people we got here in the Fix Series.
And pretty much the entire top 10 is separated pretty evenly. Although you see Clindy, we'll get you gaps here. Clindy is falling back 2 seconds from Pinero. It's about a second behind him to Collins. About 0.8 of a second back to Richard, 0.6 back to Ward, and about another second back to Ponto. So about even gaps are starting to pop up here through the field. And that might be a way that you want to maybe answer, do the undercut. Maybe that's the best way to do things. But I think everyone is just going to go to the end here for the most part. We're going to watch Logan Edwards. He's the one that made that first duck down pit road. We're going to see how that bodes for him. But I think everyone's going to go to the end of their tank and go for that short fill and a new set of tires and sprint it to the end.
Yeah, he's making progress, but the one thing that really was unfortunate for him is his placement on the track when he came out was right into traffic. So that big advantage on those first 4 or 5 laps of new tires, he was only getting about 0.2 of a second to the rest of the top 10. Short run, this might work out for him. Might be able to jump a spot or two, but if we continue green, it's going to be very risky and very tough for him to maintain his position.
Carlos Washington on pit road. Elijah Gilson on pit road.
Nick, look at the track tip.
Ooh, it is hot now.
Gary,
it has
we've hit it.
Escalated.
We've officially hit it.
130. And Miss Excitement is having a little bit of issues up in front of our leader. I think she just kind of gave the turn 2 exit wall a little bit of a kiss. Josh Ward on pit road. Scheduled stop for one of our leaders. We'll see how this works out for him as he comes all the way down pit road to one of the first stalls. There he is. Slides on in, up on the pneumatic jacks. They'll set a new set of tires on that car. Fill it for just enough of that speedway or Shell fuel. I forgot, we're Shell now these days. And down and away. And look at that little waggle of the back end. That's the danger of coming off pit road. It's very slick. Also very hot. Richards, Clindy, Ponto, all on pit road. Pizarro on pit road. So Pinero is going to go super long here.
Now, I will say this. It just went up by a degree. It's now 131. I question the relative humidity because this is a Sonoran desert, and very rarely does it hit 44% relative humidity, unless there's a big-ass monsoon supercell coming.
And if you're just joining us, this is P1's coverage of the IndyCar Oval Series Tuesday night top split presented to you by Topia Systems, coming to you from Legacy Phoenix, where we've completed now 71 of 110 laps. If you're enjoying tonight's coverage and like to monetarily support us, please find the link to our GoFundMe campaign. It is in the description. And give to our program fund. We realize times are tough, so any amount that you can give us, contribute, we greatly appreciate. More cars coming to pit road. Mitch coming to pit road. We continue to watch our leader. Chris Wetz is in second now. Jacob Collins hitting pit road late. He comes in from third. Ty Quilla is going to join him on pit road. As Dave Mitchell, I think, doing the drive through all the stalls bit there. And here comes our leader, Pinero, pit road, lap 73. So right about when we thought. It'd be right around 75, we figured. But again, he's not drafting off very many people. He did get up to lap traffic, so maybe he was able to save some fuel that way, but not getting as much mileage as Chris Wetz, for instance, who has gone the longest, 73 laps.
But what Wetz is hoping for, and I don't think it's going to happen, is a caution. Because he'll want to trap everybody a lap down beside himself.
Wetz did not come to pit road in that earlier caution. So this is all on his own. And Miguel goes purple, but here comes Wetz. Scheduled stop. Here it is at lap 75. Not bad. Saving a little bit extra fuel back there, racing the folks. Coming to pit road. That will turn the lead over to Roman Zini. Now, Roman Zini did stop on lap 6, so he's only 69 laps into his current stint.
Nice.
But he will come to pit road here probably sometime in the next 8 laps or so or less. And that will turn the lead over to Pinero. Clindy has 2 lap cars in front of him before you get to Pinero. That is Hayward and Mitchell. Clindy's going to like to see Mitchell in front of him like this, being down in the order. Remember, that they are battling for supremacy in the Oval Division Points Championship.
Roman Zini is very happy with how his fuel strategies worked right now. So, shout out to him, though. No, they played it perfectly. That's a wonderful play to do from the mid-pack and then go long.
This will be a pass for the lead right here. Fellow countryman Adriano Pinero and Bro Manzini dips out of the way. He's coming to pit road for his scheduled stop. And now should bring him home. Oh, a little bit of a twitch there, but he's all good.
Note through the pit cycle too, we might have missed it because of everybody pitting when their outlaps were. But Josh Ward, I believe, jumped Tanner Richards unless he got by before that. So yeah, that timed that perfectly. He had about 2 lap buffer when he went, and then when everybody else went, and that made all the difference between that spot.
Well, and look who is in front of him though. The guy that stopped first, or everybody. But he is 30 laps into his run and kind of a bit of a sitting duck versus cars with half as old or maybe a third of as old as tires as he has, is Logan Edwards. So the undercut got him to third.
But it may come back to bite him in the long run.
Yeah, if you're Edwards, you want to fight this obviously, but it's still a net gain for you. You're really doing well with it. You want to hope for a caution probably in about 10, 15 laps, and then everybody will consider taking another set of tires.
To put it simple, net term gain, long term loss or something like that.
Not a lot of
Please,
big movers. Not a lot of big movers in this race, by the way. Logan Edwards is your biggest mover, only up 5 spots, and I say only because he is your biggest mover. That is really it. The other biggest mover is Bizarro. Oh no! Right in front of our leader, and now we're gonna go caution as Ponto avoids it.
No, Ponto got hit. I think he got hit.
And let's go back on this one right away, and we'll watch it a little bit as I'm sure we're going to have people come to pit road, although I think those that just stopped are going to stay out, though. We're going to watch this lap. It really started a lap prior as they go through the dog leg. And again, tries to get underneath them into 3 and 4. Gets alongside, but the high line, especially as this track wears into those tires get worn out, the high line becomes the fastest line. Also, you get a big push off the corner, and this is where it starts to get a little bit dicey now as Ward is there. He dives in with the better tires, which you can do in 1 and 2. Gets underneath Edwards, and bad net code. Bad, awful net code again.
But wait till you see Ponto. You talk about
wow,
the narrowest of margins.
Ponto went all General Lee here. We're gonna watch this from this angle. Boom, yeah, there's a full tire width there before they even contacted. And here's Ponto. We're gonna watch Ponto now as he comes in here. Strike Dixie, and then yeah, there he goes. If someone wants a screenshot for that replay,
Yeah, it should be his phone wallpaper, I think, the next week or so. Wow.
I think we get a good. There you go. And Ponto a little bit of airtime, but I think that might have damaged his front wing, so he's going to probably have to get those looked at. And Ward showing with a meatball, so it looks like it might be terminal damage for Ward on that incident. Logan's still turning laps, and he did come to pit road and got some work done, and he's still on the lead lap, so he put on a new set of tires, probably his last set, and he's going to rejoin at the tail end of the field here at lap 86 of 110. Pinero, Clindy, Richards, Collins, Miguel, Wetz, Quilla, Sousa, Pizarro, Ponto, your top 10. There are some lap cars in front, a lap car in front of Clindy. That is Dave Mitchell. We're getting ready to go green this time by sprint to the end, lap 86 of 110. And it's been pretty much Pinero's race the entire time. With other than a handful of laps he has not led, has led them all today. Had the fastest lap, started on the pole, and is looking at the win if he can hang on here in these final handful of laps.
Yeah, you might be able to hang on for the last 10 or so laps, but anything can happen here at Phoenix. You always want to keep your guard up, but right now it looks like we got a number of cars here in the mid-pack that are just throwing haymakers, trying to get by everybody, including themselves, probably. Raporti is still trying to get that run on the outside. He's going to get washed up a little bit up into the wall. Doesn't make any
contact with Estrada, and that took out 2 cars.
One car up and over.
And you kind of saw that coming as Estrada's not going to give you any inches, and Fraporti likes to take those inches, and the mailman sends it. It is a delivery denied here at the dog leg, and he just comes down on, him. And there was no avoiding that one for Ponto. Carlos Washington gets into that. Gilson into that. Vitor into that one. And let's ride from Vitor's point of view here. And you saw this coming. You did see it coming. There's the contact.
Poor Matthew Ponto.
And Vitor there was a roadblock in front of Vitor. He had no place to go.
Yeah, absolutely none.
Poor Matthew Ponto. Dukes of Hazzard's first wreck to avoid it. Then he gets put in the wall. Day done.
Day done. And there's a lot of meatballs out there, and I don't mean that in a negative way. I'm just meaning that there's a lot of meatball flags being displayed. Carlos Washington, Fraporti, Vitor Gerhemi, Matthew Ponto, Josh Ward still on pit road getting looked at, but all meatballs still out there currently on the racetrack. 21 to go. And we hear some cars burning off some fuel. Lights are out on the pace car. Hey, in December, P1 Broadcasting becomes the primetime home for happy hour at the Brickyard, your nightly destination for rally action leading up to the prestigious PRI Hoosier 500. The last kiss of the bricks for 2025 starts here. The countdown is on, so everybody pucker up and don't miss a second of the action. Like, share, and subscribe to stay locked in. We will see you in December for the PRI Hoosier 500. Nick's going to be in that race, aren't you? You're going to qualify for that?
Depending on some personal stuff, but I would love to be in the field for that showcase, that midsummer showcase, or for the 600, excuse me, as well.
The 600 coming up in June.
Got ahead of myself there, short circuit to the brain, but yeah, no, a lot of exciting things here on P1 and through the community. Love to have IndyCar back, baby.
I'm just going to say this. Here, have a Snickers.
Green flag, green flag.
Green flag is Clindy Pinero now without a car in front of Clindy. They kind of act as a buffer before he gets to Pinero, so it's just a one-on-one battle here between cars with 18 lap-old tires with Pinero and 23 lap-old tires for Clindy. Tanner Richards now moves up to third. Jacob Collins is in fourth.
Ooh,
I'm like you there. I thought we were about to have another one.
Yeah, Pinheiro is digging. I mean, Clendy has the older tires, but Clendy had that momentum for the first part of the run here. It's like Pinheiro said it's go time and shreds his legs out another
purple lap
of a second with
purple lap 174.7. Closers be closing.
Drive.
Yeah, closers be closing.
Also of note, Antonio Estrada and Matthew Ponto listed as DNF. Damage was too much from that pile up on the back.
Pinero, purple lap again, 175.9.
And all I'm hearing through the radio communication right now from Pinero, just gonna send it. Might as well.
Like, that is one of his best attributes. Pinheiro is he is the Mariano Rivera of the IndyCar community. He knows if he's in a prime position to win a race, he knows how to close it. I have been on the losing end of it many a times.
As a Red Sox fan who hates Mariano, that is probably a very appropriate comparison because, yeah, late in a race, if you need any driver out there that can even compete with the big swingers out there, the Malechkas and the Krauses. If there's any one driver out there that can really hang with those guys in the late stages of a race, it's this guy right here. Look at this battle for right around. We got Quilla, Pizarro, Sousa, and Wetz. Wetz is a little bit further up the road, but that was a three-way battle. Go ahead.
Quilla said, I'm slow. I think he's got a problem.
All right, so we'll take a look at his car. Might have smacked the wall a little too vigorously. 12 to go here at Phoenix. Pinero continues the lead and pulled away by 1.1 seconds over Clindy. They have pulled away from Richards. Richards is a distant third now at the moment. Collins is fourth.
Yeah, Wetz is actually.
Yeah, Wetz is taking a peek underneath Miguel here. This is for a top 5. Wetz. He's in one of those Dale Coyne liveries from last year's Indy 500. That was Nolan Siegel was driving. Oh, Pizarro and Sousa. Sousa put a big aero block on Pizarro through 1 and 2. Back to Wetz.
In regards to Taekwella, guys, he got the meatball.
Yeah, got the meatball. Needs to answer that here, and fortunately the race is going to...
He's in.
Yeah, he's going to have to answer that sooner than the race will be.
He almost ate it, literally going into pit road.
Here's Wetz underneath Miguel one more time in a 3 and 4.
And a slide job. A little slide job up.
He is clear, and Miguel's like, nope, I'm going to do a crossover. I'm going to get you down low in the 1 and 2. But with the tires worn at this point and the track so hot, down low through 1 and 2 is not the way to go. And Wetz holds on. He anchors himself in 5th at the moment.
Yeah, but look at Tony Pizarro and Beto Souza right there going through 3 and 4. They are throwing haymakers. They are trying to find a way to get past at least one trying to defend, one trying to get past the other. And I think it's going to come down to the wire. Probably a last lap. Send it gone wrong. Hopefully not, but you never know.
Pizarro now pulling away from Sousa. Working his way into 7th. Olivia Hayward now up into the top 10. Miss Excitement. She got around Dave Mitchell. Mitchell back to 11th. They are the first 2 cars off the lead lap. Meanwhile, back up front, it is still Pinero. Clindy digs in a little bit to that lead. He is now flirting at a second or less in the 1 and 2.
That phrase, gap management, I think that's Pinero. Just drive it safe, take it home.
What Nick said.
Number of IndyCar drivers have gotten their first wins here through the course of history. We mentioned Jim Guthrie. Robbie Gordon got his lone win here in IndyCar racing. Kevin Kogan got his lone win here. Roberto Guerrero got his first win here.
And to think Robbie Gordon's lone IndyCar win here was 30 years ago. He literally caught Michael Andretti sleeping on a pit strategy.
Yeah, I think he needed to say, or he was told to save when he didn't need to, or something like that, and or he didn't know that the car that he was actually racing Robbie when I think his team told him he was a lap down or so. I forget what it was, but it was a miscommunication from the pit, and then all of a sudden Robbie goes by, and he was like, what happened? White flag in the air, coming off of 4 for Pinero in the 1 and 2. Making it look easy tonight here on the top split, presented by Topia Systems. Down the backstretch through the proper dogleg. Now into 3 and 4 for the final time. Coming to the checkered flag, Adriano Pinero. An easy win tonight here on the top splits.
Started first, finished first. And a great job there by the rest of the crew there. Glenworth finishing in second, and Ted Richards running out the podium.
Oh, we're going to get a three-way photo opportunity. Oh, jeez. Come on, Beto.
Oh.
He does it reverse.
He's trying his best there, at least.
And here are your results from the Jewel in the Desert. Panero, the winner. Glindy, second. That's going to help his points lead in the championship. Tanner Richards in third. Jacob Collins, fourth. Chris Wetz. He's your... let me see here. He is not your biggest gainer today. We'll talk about your biggest gainer today a little bit further on down. But he did a great job. Miguel in sixth. Pizarro, seventh. Sousa, eighth. Logan Edwards in ninth. And Olivia Hayward, Miss Excitement, in 10th. And here's your biggest gainer today. Roman Zini, up 11 spots. He started shotgun on this field. He started 22nd, comes home 11th. Dave Mitchell, not the finish he wanted tonight for the championship run. May this be the drop week that he needs? We'll see. This will be it, probably. This is, he finishes in 12. Gilson, 13. Not a bad finish for Gilson. Forsyth, coming deep in the field from finishes 14. Ty Quilla in 15th. Ward from 40, Washington. Vitor and Ponto, your top 20. Antonio, the boss, and Hamilton in 21st and 22nd. That is your 22-car field. All right, let's get some replays queued up. I think we're not going to have very many interviews tonight. I don't think Tanner's on Discord anymore, and Adriano, if he does, he'll just send me a message. So we might just get Clindy. All right. Trying to get these replays queued up here. All right. And we will get into the interview room here momentarily. And there we go. Other streamers have producers for this. It's just me. All right. And let's get into the interview room. There's the points one more time before we get there. So you're going to see there's going to be a little moving in the points tonight. And there is Tanner. He is here, so we will bring him up. I'm good to see him here, so we will bring him up. Tanner Richards finishes third here. Kind of a by-the-book race. Most of the race, you were just kind of in a battle there with Josh until Josh kind of got taken up with something and then kind of inherited third place, and that's kind of where you finished. But all in all, not a bad race, really. Just not a lot of racing up at the front. Everybody kind of in line trying to keep up with one another. Can you hear me, Tanner? I don't think he can respond. Okay, so what we'll do is if he wants to work on his mic.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
There he is. We'll talk about your race, though. Not a very adventuresome race, kind of following in line, but talk about your race there.
Well, yeah, honestly, the track's really hot and the setup is very hard to drive in traffic. So everyone is basically just, as you said, we're following each other in line. So it wasn't the most exciting race ever, but I was really conservative on my pit stop, and I tried not to make a mistake. And I feel like I could have maybe had another position or two at the end, but it actually it didn't matter actually because those guys in front of me crashed. Yeah, so it was a pretty uneventful race, but good nonetheless. It was a good run.
Well. You call this uneventful? Have you not seen a NASCAR iRacing Open or Fixed Series race here on the new configuration? Come on, don't kid yourself there. This was actually a lot better than what we would get in the NIS fixed.
I do agree with that. It's not bad. You can pass somebody if you really have like maybe a few tenths on them, but it's really difficult to do.
Well, not bad for a day's work. I mean, you finished right where you started. You can't ask for much less than that, and much more than that is finishing better than Clindy and Pinero. And those guys just seem to be in another area code at least today. So all in all, not a bad run. Any shout outs, friends, family, sponsors you want to say hi to?
No, just shout out to you guys for a nice broadcast, and shout out to my competitors. It feels bad I couldn't be the Cactus King today, but maybe next time.
Again, there's always the next time, and maybe it's at the new track where it's lights on and maybe a little bit closer racing. But not a bad run today. P3, starting from third, finishing the third. Congratulations. We'll catch you at the next one, Tanner.
Have a good night, guys.
And let's bring up Clindy here. And again, much the same question and the same thing that I posed to Clindy here is, other than really, I mean, you two, you and Pinero were kind of best in class because you kind of pulled away from everybody. But it wasn't not a very eventful race at all for you up there. I mean, you're just 110 laps of making sure you hit your marks and try to find an edge and run down Pinero somehow.
Yeah, honestly, this race was won in qualifying, so Adriano really put down a screamer there. He beat Jacob by, 8 1/1000ths or something, and I just had been clicking off high 4s and low 5s in practice, and then just did not execute in this lobby. So I know the weather's always just a little bit different by 1 or 2 degrees, but if the roles had been reversed, if I had been in front of Adriano, I have no doubt in my mind that this race would have looked with a seafoam teal mint car in first and an orange and yellow car in second. So shout out to Adriano, man. He drove a flawless race. A couple times he was really smart in traffic. And I think he almost lost the car with like 7 to go off of turn 2 and gave me false hope that maybe he had cooked his tires or smacked the wall, got side ply damage. But all I could do was just hang on and finish second. And great job by Tanner, getting by Jacob and them back there to finish third. I'm gutted for Jacob, but I know that he had a bit of an issue on his pit stop where his tires were unselected, so he had to reverse into his box and get those put on. So that was like a 4-second penalty or more for him. But,
ouch.
Absolutely, just a great drive today. Good race. Oh, my spec map's not on. It's probably because I turned it off for Warriors for Peace. Oh well. I'll get that fixed. Sorry, Gary, and sorry to all my sponsors who wanted to see a shiny car today. But something a little different for the desert. Have a sandy tone. So
no worries. So really, the only hope really kind of beating Pinero was kind of doing a bit of an undercut on him, as well as kind of hoping that he messes up, and hoping for the mess up is really the long shot because the guy doesn't mess up very often.
No, honestly, my biggest bet was that he would run into someone in traffic and they wouldn't give him enough room or race him really hard. Frapporti gave him fits the first time he tried to lap Frapporti, and I got within, 0.6 of a second. But, with Adriano side by side, I still had to get by Bruno Romanzini before I could really mount a charge, and I just couldn't get by Bruno fast enough without risking knocking down the turn 2 wall or lighting my rears on fire. So I just kind of took what the race gave me and brought it home second. So just had to hope Adriano beat himself today, and he did not. So, happy to be second.
Shout outs, friends, family, sponsors.
Yeah, I got a whole list of them. So first and foremost, thanks to everyone at the Votive Racing League, and Shane Coker, who puts on that show. I've been offering coaching through that league free for complimentary purposes, and then I've also been offering paid coaching. If you'd like to learn any oval in the IR18 on the surface, book me. I can put some time together where we can work on your race pace, your Q pace, or your tire saving. I'm really good at race pace and tire saving. I'm just okay at Q, so don't expect me to teach you all the secrets there. I kind of give you the next step beyond what's in the free P1 broadcasting oval fixed guides that I put out on YouTube for free for everyone. Also, shout out to Topia Systems, the presenting sponsor here on Tuesday night fixed top split. They're also a partner with Rogue Racing. So if you need any pre-built PC solutions in the Indianapolis area, go ahead and give them a visit at techtopiasystems.net or on Facebook. Just search tech-topia systems and they'll come right up. Thank you to everyone at Sugarman Farms. My cousin Craig runs the farm in Mononk, Illinois that makes the best corn in the world, grown in Illinois soil. And then shout out to my mom, my dad, my sister, my brother, everyone who I love so dearly back home. And my buddy Casey, who's going to be getting on a flight here to come visit in just a couple hours. So I'll get to hang out with him. And,
All right.
My house has been full of guests recently. So shout out to everyone who has broke bread and stayed in my home as of late. It's been very nice to see you all. Making sure I'm not missing anyone. I got all my Rogue Racing teammates. Jacob and I almost got back-to-back double podiums, but wasn't meant to be. But fourth place is nothing to shake a stick at. And I know Ty and Tony had some problems today, but we'll shape up and we'll come back and we'll get them next week. And then honestly, shout out to Adriano and Dave Mitchell, everybody who I'm fighting for this championship. It's probably going to come down to the wire, but today was really good for me. So looking forward to getting all 8 quality weeks in and calculating my drops and seeing where I am. I know Adriano made up a little bit of ground on me today, but I think I had almost 50 or 80 points on him after Atlanta. So I think he probably got half of that back.
All right. Well, congratulations. And we'll see you at Legacy Charlotte, which is the next one.
Absolutely. I'll see you there. Hopefully Tanner doesn't snipe me again on the white flag lap.
All right. Legacy Charlotte is next up. I do have a message here from Adriano, and we'll give his stat line there. Want to congratulate Kyle. He called him a good boy, so I don't know.
Excuse me?
He said a good boy, so I don't know. I don't know if that's just a literal translation or what. But he says, I want to congratulate Kyle, good boy for P2 and Tanner for P3. I think he might. I don't think he's talking trash. I think that might be a literal general translation. Qualifying, I took the pole. But for me, it was a surprise. I lost a lot of time in turns 1 and 2. I think everyone got their qualifications wrong. And during the race, I just controlled the pace. It's very difficult to overtake on this track. I'm quite happy with the comeback with a win. And I think he's talking about from last week. He did not have a good week. And I'm getting a note here from Lewis, LGN. He says, about good boy for sure is from Google Translate. So he's not throwing shade or anything at Kyle for calling him a good boy. It's just from Google Translate. He also does say a hug for Beto Sousa and Fazaro, Franzoni, Ragon, and their sponsor, Bread King. But that is tonight's winner. Everybody, he wishes everybody a great night. But that's tonight's winner, Adriano Pinero here at Phoenix. And he sure put a wampin on the field, didn't he, Justin?
Yes. Just yes.
Just
but
yes.
Serious, no. That is normally the case here in Phoenix, especially when the track temperatures get hot. Ambient air temperature normally doesn't mean JS. Figure out the abbreviation on that one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But in terms of track temperature, that's where you always have to factor in when it comes to tire management, pit strategy, and what have you. Hell, even qualifying. Who am I kidding? But Phoenix will always be a bull ring. Doesn't matter if you change the configuration, flip flop it one way or the other. It's still a bull ring. It's still fast. You still get caught up in traffic, and that's what makes it fun. I will just say that. I'm looking forward to where we go to next week.
Legacy Charlotte.
Oh, God. Well, that's going to be even more fun.
Super
But-
bumpy, yep.
And the best part is, I can go from right here in Phoenix, go down to Scottsdale Airport, hop on a flight, go back to the LA area because I'm doing a quote unquote SoCal swing, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Fontana, California, Long Beach, and then Irwindale for 300 laps in the iRacing Super Late Model Tour.
Oof.
Yeah.
Oof.
And then it's a week off, and then the week we go to kick off the month of May for the Grand Prix of Indianapolis. I'm literally going to be bouncing between there and North Wilkesboro.
You got
200
Barber.
laps.
You got Barber in there somewhere too, unless you're not going to bring
Yeah,
up Barber for the IAS. But yeah, I don't.
No,
I can't
no,
imagine you
it's-
missing that. So
No, the week we go to there, the week we go to Indianapolis to kick up the month of May, that's when the Wilkesboro race is. So we literally, it's not going to conflict, surprisingly, with Barber. So that's a good thing. But other than that, fantastic race tonight.
yeah.
Legacy Charlotte, I don't know if it's daytime or nighttime. Have they told us yet?
I think it's a night race. Nick, do you know that for sure?
I can look it up. Give me
I
2
think
seconds.
it's a night race. I could be wrong, and it wouldn't be the first time I'm wrong.
It is. Drum roll, please. Come on. Come on, UI. There we go. Sorry, the old CPU cycles aren't late afternoon.
Oh, late afternoon.
Oh.
Okay, so it might go into the nighttime, depending on
Might.
yeah, when qualifying takes place and everything. But all right,
That's,
so
that's still going to be a good race nonetheless. But can you believe it, guys? We're literally just a week or two away from the start of the greatest month in the history of auto racing.
yeah, might kick
Y'all
off
know what I
tomorrow
mean.
unofficially. Unofficially, we got open test
yeah,
tomorrow.
yeah.
So yeah. Hey, Nick, good to have you in the booth again for another week. Almost now back on a regular basis. We shall see. But so we're done with ovals, I guess, for a while, at least until next week on the Oval Series. But you on the Open Series are done with ovals for a while until we get to Indianapolis. You got Barber in the Indy GP up next, trying to hold on to a lead there in that division. But what do you think of the action here today? A hot track made it for a difficult going for just about everybody.
Yeah, very challenging conditions. A lot of, there wasn't a lot of passing, but there was actually a lot more challenging for position than I would have thought. A great battle yet again. I know that first couple positions usually get strung out at a place like this once the tires get worn, but yeah, that mid-pack battle, again,
Mhm.
big shout out to Chris Wetz there. Again, he's been much more of a multidiscipline driver. Coming in and seeing what he can do with this very weird card. It is the most weird thing you will ever drive on an oval, but that's part of the challenge. It's the aerodynamics, the grip level. You always want to push it to the absolute limits of adhesion. Especially at a place like this, at a short oval like this. And everybody else too, it kept it clean for the most part. There was some netcode errors that happened that
Yeah.
took a few of the competitors out,
Yeah.
Including, unfortunately my teammate, but it happens. It's the name of the game we have. And, yeah, I'm honestly, I'm not going to lie. I've been looking up and I never did. I looked up the sponsor for Adriano's team, and that looks like a phenomenal frozen bakery in Brazil. So yeah, I never knew, and now I'm hungry. So Gary, let's take us home and give the people an opportunity maybe for a late night snack here.
Hey, and if you need a new PC, I know who you can hook you up with a new PC. I know you got that new big paying high gig and everything. So
In due time, my friend.
new rig time, isn't it?
Yes. Yes, after the move, but yes.
So that's it for tonight. Once again, your podium here from Legacy Phoenix is Adriano Pinero with the win. Keeping pace with your points leader, Clindy, who comes home second, and Tanner Richards comes home in third. That is your podium for tonight. Join us again next week for round 7, week 7 of season 2 of 2025 of the IndyCar Oval Series Tuesday Night Top Split, presented by Topia Systems, as the teams and drivers head to Legacy Charlotte Motor Speedway. Coverage begins around 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, that's 8:15 p.m. Eastern. And remember, as always, for the correct broadcast time in your area, you can find everything right here on YouTube at youtube.com/@P1 Broadcasting. Hey, we love bringing these races to you, but not easy and require time and money to produce. If you share our passion for the sport of IndyCar, and we know you have, and if you enjoyed our coverage of the IndyCar Oval Series Tuesday Night Top Split, please take time to visit our GoFundMe page. The link is in the description, and donate to our 2025 broadcast fund. We realize times are tough, so any contribution will be greatly appreciated. We thank you for watching and making us part of your Tuesday evenings each and every week. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game's not an easy one, so please help support P1 with the weekly grind. Leave a comment below. Let us know what you thought of tonight's race. If you enjoyed tonight's coverage, support us by smashing like in the video. If you're new, click subscribe, and while you're at it, hit the bell for weekly reminders. So don't miss out on more P1's other iRacing programming, including tomorrow night. The Horizon IndyCar Series continues their season with round 11 at Nashville at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and the AMA Grand National Cars head to Talladega on Thursday at 8:20 p.m. Don't miss it. Promotional consideration paid for by the following. Topia Systems is the presenting sponsor of the Tuesday Night Top Split here on P1. Topia is where quality and affordability go full throttle. For custom rigs or to powerful pre-builds, Topia delivers top-tier performance without all the sticker shot. Built with premium parts and backed with a team that cares, every system is tuned for gaming greatness. Topia Systems, built right, price right, game on. To learn more, check out their links in the description. SimWrap Market is your go-to source for iRacing paint templates and broadcast resources. From clean base liveries to pro-level design assets, SimWrap Market has everything you need to build your on-brand track. They also offer high-quality camera packs as well to give your streams and replays that polished cinematic look. Visit simwrapmarket.com, download, customize, race. Track cams for this race are provided by Whiplash SimCams. Get the most out of your iRacing experience with Whiplash SimCams. To learn more about Whiplash, like them on Facebook, follow them on X and Instagram. Links are in the description for business inquiries. To learn more about P1 and what we do, like us on Facebook, follow us on X and Instagram. You can follow all of our social links on Linktree. You can check them out in the description. So for Justin Petschauer, Nick Sudik, everyone here at P1, I'm Gary Gonzo saying to all, good night and thanks for watching. And all of our men and women serving in the military and its first responders, Godspeed, God bless, and come home safe. Catch us again next week at Legacy Charlotte and the next race of the IndyCar Oval Series Tuesday Night Top Split on P1. Don't forget, IndyCar Open Test tomorrow on IndyCar.com. Don't miss it. Check it out there. Good night, everybody.